sweet like candy, candy. I can hear it when you walk, even when you talk. It takes over me, just like candy. What is up out there? What's going on? Happy Tuesday evening. Here we go. How you feeling? I hope you feel good. Because guess what? I feel good. We're rocking the power of blue today. So, don't mind May. We took off the gray for a little bit, and now we're going to do the power blue. Last night, want to give a shout out to the guys again. B for putting it together. Diesel on the gram. Sammy and Rel, who actually owns G Host Lounge down on Hunting Park Ave near Gratz. So go check it out. We typically are down there each Monday night to do something. Podcast, talk, drink, socialize, fellowship, whatever it is. So make sure you come down and enjoy some of the happy hour specials. And check out that pod from yesterday that we did where we talk about, some more male-centric stuff. Saweetie, I remember the first time I saw her, I was like, you know what? She is pretty as I don't know what. She's nice. And then because I used to watch Kevin Samuels kind of started breaking some stuff down. I was like, well, yeah, Kevin, I don't know if you're right about this one, but she still is an attractive woman. But anyway, as they talked about, that's been surfacing around on YouTube and different vlogs and stuff, that Saweetie, the rapper, the one who hasn't had a song or whatever in a pretty long time, is what's called a yachting girl. And I didn't even know what that meant and everything until, I started reading up on it and everything. Because, you like to know everything, but you don't know everything. So you try to find out what you can find out. So now, a yachting girl, I'm supposing, is kind of like where you have somebody who sets you up and you go like to Dubai, just different places where, basically you get paid to be the lady of the hour. And you get paid to, because I know they were talking about before, I had heard years ago, where they were saying just like, certain people in these different countries, especially places like Dubai, where a lot of the men have a lot of money, import a lot of American women or women from around the world to come in and, do kind of like weird stuff like, defecate on them or urinate on them or do different things like that. Just, so they can have that. Deal with whatever their fetish. I'm sure they had sex with them also, but deal with whatever fetish they had. And then at the same time, the women got paid. So it was like a good exchange. You got a free trip to Dubai, stayed in a nice place. And, you just had to deal with some of these things, and yeah. So fast forward to Saweetie. Now, and sometimes too, because when we find women or people who are popular, and I know I've done this before too. Sometimes when somebody's popular, they come out with song or music or something like that, you just think that they got money forever. You don't really think, well, I'm older now, so I know better. But you know how sometimes you will think that they have money on top of money on top of money, even if they hadn't had a song out in years, just because they're famous. So the story goes, it was this lady named Maybach May, or Mai, I think it's Maybach May. And that's her tag name. And she's sort of kind of like a madam who sets up women to go on these dates or to kind of link up and do all of this kind of stuff where they get a handsome sum of money to go and be with different men. Now, Maybach May, she's reported that Saweetie still owes her money, because she's hooked her up, and from what I'm assuming, what she's claiming she's going to release more information is that this isn't the first time, and she's done it for her multiple times, and obviously multiple different people. Well, anyway, Saweetie wanted her to hook her up with some guy, I think some soccer player or whatever, really popular soccer player overseas. So she hooked him up with him. So they wind up getting into allegedly a relationship. So then Saweetie says, hey, look, man, we already got this locked in. That money, that commission that Maybach May wanted, no. Bring that all home. Bring that all home to mommy. She don't need none of that. So supposedly that's where the rift in their friendship, I guess they had what you would call a friendship, Maybach May and Saweetie. So therefore things have gone awry. And, you can check it out and everything like that. We just give a little commentary over here, about some of the stuff that's going on. But as it relates to us, sometimes what happens is, I know especially for men, because I know she's been linked to, I believe she's been linked to dealing with The Game, I believe, West Coast rapper. I know she got famous by first being linked up with Quavo of the Migos, and then supposedly they're saying that she possibly dealt with Offset from the Migos also, which caused a part of their rift. Now, Offset claims that that's not true, but who knows, right? But here's the problem. When you're younger, when you're dating, especially women that are considered to be universally cute, beautiful, fine, however you want to look at it, nobody ever tells you the other pitfalls that come along with it. Nobody ever tells you, you dating this woman, especially like in the black community, everybody in the black community, guys like big butts, right? But you're never really told that when that comes up, how much of an issue those things can cause. So now Saweetie, once again, pretty girl. And the thing about Saweetie that's different by her is that she's also a college grad. So it's rare to see a young female rapper, and she's from the West Coast, I believe, but she's a college grad also. Now, there's also been times before when she said that, for a guy to get her back, he needed to give her $100,000, or he needed to buy her a property or something like that, or whatever. So you don't hear much from her outside of things like that, not even as much as making music. So you're thinking to yourself, and I'm not sure, I think she has a BBL. It looks good though. Whichever way it goes, it looks nice. So she has a nice body and everything. But what's not told to you is that when you pursue these women, even if it's not a Saweetie, somebody that's famous, when you pursue these type of women, there is a lot of stuff that goes along with having these types of women. And even me, because I always bring it back to me, dating over the last few years, you see that. And I'm seeing it even in women that are 45, 50. That if they still have a relatively nice body, a relatively pretty face, because, most people are going gray. I mean, I don't cover them up, but, a lot of times women will get a rinse and a dye. So that way you can't tell if they're 25 or 55. But hey, because a lot of them are going gray, but that's the way it is. But what happens is that they still, in their minds, have this perceived line behind them, which isn't necessarily just perceived, but in a lot of cases becomes true. So whereas though, like you're trying to date or you're trying to attack it from a standpoint of, I just got a woman, I think that she's a nice looking girl. Like I told you, meet women all the time. Oh, you know what? I think she's going to be a decent person. And I'm thinking to myself, because I'm like 51, dog. Like, so, I date, but it's like, you still want to try to find good or the best possible people to be around you. And yeah, there may be certain things that you're still attracted to. Like maybe you do like big boobs or big butt or thighs or just a cute face or whatever it is. So, as a guy, you're still going after what you consider to be attractive, but you're not thinking also, even at these advanced ages, and not, as I always say, 35 and older, that there is still so much superficial garbage that goes along with it. Now I know what you're going to say. Well, G, liking a girl because she has a big butt is superficial, or liking a girl. But the thing is that with guys that are voyeurs, meaning lookers, that's not the only thing. A lot of times guys are looking for different things that they can, that aren't tangible, that they can hold on to. Like a nurturing sense, or like just a good, decent person, or a woman who appears to be more trustworthy. But a lot of times, people who are like a Saweetie, who are above average looking women, good looking women with nice bodies, regardless of the age, continue to run a game. Now, they may not be running a Saweetie game where they're going overseas doing all this kind of stuff, but they'll do it right here in the city. Like, there's a lot of game to be played. Hey, listen, I call it we're playing text games. Let's play text games. Oh yeah. Hold on. Sorry for the shaking. Oh yeah. What's going on? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get with you such and such. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Foolishness. And because a lot of times, as guys, we play along with the game because we're fools too. And, we want to get what we want to get out of the deal, if we can get anything out of the deal, which usually always winds up costing us, which I'm about to talk about in our next little video in a minute. But the thing is that you have situations where you got somebody that's a nice looking woman like her, and she still is trying to take advantage of people in a situation. And you start thinking to yourself, like, why? Because I know men get a bad rep when it comes down to dating. Oh, men cheat. Men getting all of this stuff. Men do this. Men do that. Yeah. I got you. But what about what some of these women do? I mean, some of the stuff is like really ridiculous. And I'm telling you, believe me, because it's not just me. It's a lot of other, like Rel even said yesterday in the video, like, dating now is like being in the Schuylkill River. And a lot of times it's because, and I even say this too, a lot of times, a lot of women truly already have somebody. They already got somebody, whether it's an ex that they still knocking off, ex-baby dad, ex-husband, whomever, and all this other kind of stuff. They just don't want to tell you because they don't want to come off as, like a Saweetie. But still, there's a lot of capping going on. There's a lot of lying going on. And I started thinking to myself, like, dang, what are women like in reverse now? They trying to get us back for what we did to the Cold Crush back in the 80s and the 90s? I mean, like, what's going on? Are they trying to, like, revenge get guys now? So instead of, like, being decent, thorough, and forthright, it's always some game with it. It's always some gaslighting with it. Yeah, you're supposed to get with me later on in the night or whatever, but when you text me tomorrow and say, hey, what's going on? And then I say to you, wow, what happened to you last night? Oh, you didn't text me. Oh, you ain't call. Why should I have to keep calling if you know we're supposed to get together today? Because you start to look at it, you start to think to yourself, like, once again, especially if you're in a position to have a couple of dollars to help people out or to help women out or whatever, you start wondering, like, dang, do you like a bull because you like me because I can help you out, or do you really bang with a guy because of what I got up in here? You dig what I'm saying? And a lot of times what I'm starting to find out is that you really don't know. So that's the reason why I feel like, hey, listen, I tell you guys, look, be the best jerk you can be. Be the best jerk you can be, and then let them sort it out. Because, I mean, they gotta mess with somebody, right? So that's why even when I think about, girl trips and stuff like that, when they go and do these things, and I know you're going to say the same thing, guys too, got you. But girl trips, when they go off and do, the Jamaicas, the other places and all that other kind of stuff, a lot of times you don't really know what's going on. Like people lie so much, they don't even let you know they actually went there. The guys are on the back of the plane that they meeting there, and they on the front of the plane, or the guys ready to drive them there, your kids, everybody there, right? You just never know. You just never know, because very, very rarely will you find out the truth unless you stumble upon the truth, or it eventually comes out some type of way. You never know. Just like even with this, I wouldn't think that she would be going overseas doing that. But it just goes to show you that, as I always feel like this, people are people. We're the ones that pedestalize people. Okay? Of course, most likely you won't be able to run ball in the league unless you're 6'4", 6'5", and up, unless you're exceptional. Yeah, of course, you can't be a supermodel unless you're probably about 6 feet, 6'1", in a certain physique. Yes, that's true. But for the most part, a lot of times, especially with guys, we spend a big part of our life pedestalizing women because we want to have sex with them. So the moral for me is that instead of always pedestalizing them, make sure you pedestalize yourself. Even if you are a woman out there listening and you don't feel great about your dating situation, make sure you pedestalize yourself and say, hey, look, you know what I mean? I don't care what anybody else thinks. I think that I'm great. And I'm not talking about thinking that you are 8, 9, or 10. I'm not saying it like that. But as far as just knowing what you bring to the table as a person, your character, your integrity, you know, things that are intangible that you have to give. And knowing that you are a high quality, not high value, you're a high quality person. And I think that's where more of the focus needs to be on when we talk about dating. But you tell me what you think. If you was good looking like Saweetie or something like that, you think you would be going over there letting people do all kinds of stuff to you? That's weird. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you don't do one thing, I want you to live life. Don't let life live you.